I must confess, lost the game of yarn chicken this time. My grays are really popping today. Embrace the grays, baby, embrace the grays. Okay, picked up. Hello, my name is Yewande. Welcome to Knitting the Blues. It's great to be here. I am a knitter and a writer. I'm based in Johannesburg. And for anyone new joining, this is a space where I like to talk about my knitting, my project. I also like to just talk actually about the community around me, other knitters, yarn dyers, just the different people that make up the kind of the, I don't know, ecosphere of crafting and fiber arts in Johannesburg, but also South Africa and even a little beyond. Welcome. If you are returning, thank you for being a regular and joining me in this space. I just love the kind of engagement that we managed to have together. Last week on Saturday, we had like another kind of edition of the 36 questions that lead to love. Sonia, the wonderful Sonia, joined me. We were in the yarn room. I'm going to put up some images of this beautiful space that is curated and offered by Yana and Anita. I really had wanted to be able to edit the episode and put it as part of the podcast, but the yarn room is a very popular place and it was buzzing on Saturday, which I think was fun for the live that we had, because I think it just gave a sense of the kind of environment we were in. But when I went back to edit, the sound was not fantastic. And so I've decided not to, which breaks my heart because it was such an awesome session. But I took some beautiful pictures of the yarn room, and I'll just play them so that you can get a sense of this special place that, I think it's been going for 2 years. Well, my intention is to do a full interview of the two owners of the store and go through the whole history. So I'm not going to repeat it now, but it's firmly lodged in the hearts of crafters and fabric and yarn lovers in Johannesburg, I can say that. So today, the idea of today is to, just come and speak and connect and check in. It's been a busy week, so this might not be a particularly long episode, but I thought I would talk a little bit about my latest project, which is the Zukhanye dress. I think I have it nearby. Yes, I'll grab it now. I'm almost finished, but I must confess, lost the game of yarn chicken this time. I think this is the first time. So I lost this time. I had to write earlier today to where I bought the yarn from. Wait, let me be a bit more thorough. So we're talking about this pattern called Zukhanye dress. It's written by Noma Ndlovu, and it's exquisite. I'm doing a whole vlog on my knitting experience of this pattern. So I also won't say too much because when the vlog comes out, you can find out more. But it's been glorious and wonderful. And here's me trying on the dress. I didn't want to take it off. It's a beautiful pattern. Holding it up is not gonna do a lot of, but I wanted you to see. Firstly, it's a lot of knitting. I don't mind you acknowledging how much knitting I've been doing. It's a lot of knitting. But I love stockinette. And so I have no complaints. It's so meditative and calm and peaceful. And, you know, it's busy in the beginning and I made many mistakes, but I'll tell you about that when I do my vlog. But once I got going, it's very sweet and it has this very sweet kind of increase rhythm that you do all the way through. It's got pockets, everybody. These are still naked pockets. I need to put the pockets in. In fact, the pockets are here. Pockets, I have decided that I'm going to actually sew them together on my machine. I hope that's not, is that cheating? I couldn't, I might do, when I attach them to the actual dress, I might, you know, go by hand, but sewing up the seams of the pocket, I thought I'll just do it on the machine. I think using that foot or that stitch that you would normally use for, what's it called, the elastic band. Is that a word? No. What do you use for the, yeah, elastic band? Isn't that what you put on a waist? Anyway, using that foot that's really good for fabric that's kind of stretchy. Because of course, as a knitted fabric, it has a bit of stretch to it. I wish you could feel this. I'm knitting it in Fibra Natura Papyrus. This is where the crime has taken place. I ordered too little. I don't think my calculations were off, but I never allow for extra. I guess I'm pretty long. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. I need more balls, and I have ordered more balls. It's beautiful yarn. I think it's 70% Egyptian cotton, 20% silk. And it feels so kind of soft and wonderful. It's probably going to be a fairly heavy dress, but it doesn't feel heavy. And it doesn't feel like when you knit with really tough cotton and your hands hurt. It doesn't feel like that at all. It's been a very pleasant knitting experience. And my only regret, they don't have a lot of, the colors run quite, there are not that many colors to start with. And they run quite light. And I don't particularly love pale colors. I would use, this is great because it's kind of it's a kind of a silver, which is perfect for me. I'm winter, cool winter, I think I am. Cool winter? I don't know if that's a thing. I think I'm deep winter. But anyway, I go for cool tones. So the coolness of that silver is perfect for me. But the other colors are not quite my thing, because I would just order a bunch, you know, if it was. It's such a beautiful fabric. It's almost, I know it's not knitting for olive cotton merino, but in a way, and it's not as thin as that, it's DK, but it just feels like the perfect summer yarn, because it's the cotton, but the silk kind of softens it, and it has a kind of a luxurious feel. It's incredibly comfortable against the skin. So when I put it on, I was just like, my gosh, this feels good. So I started worrying that it's such a light color. You know, I've got young kids. I'm like, oh my God, is it going to get dirty all the time? But I decided, I think I'll wear it on special occasions. Anyway, it's coming along fabulously. I'm 95% done. And I've run out of yarn. I have this much left. Where's the... Okay, the ball is stuck somewhere, but I have, you know, this much left. And I could see that it was going to happen. And I was like, Anyway, it happened. So what does that mean? Wait, pardon me. My hair is kind of growing and it's annoying me in some ways, but I don't want to cut it. When I say growing, you might think, oh, it's not growing. I mean, it's super curly. You see, my hair is super curly, but it's got some length to it. Anyway, this is not a hair program. I've ordered more. I do want to do a little shout out to, I think her name is Danielle at the yarn, not the yarn room, I Love Yarn, which is an online store. I think it's based in the Eastern Cape anyway, and they're the ones that stock Fibra Natura. I haven't really seen it anywhere else. I mean, maybe there is a place nearer me, but I ordered from them. I've ordered from them previously, and I wrote this morning and ordered some more, and I said, oh, if by any chance you could match the dye lot. And she was so good, and I think this is just a trait of all knitters and crocheters and makers. There's just such care, and she noticed that I had actually selected the wrong color, because there's a gray and a silver, and the gray is actually a bit warm and the silver is more cold, and I got confused. So she noticed that, because when I wrote and said, can you match this dye lot? Luckily I wrote it out. She was like, well, that's a dye lot for a different color. So she called, and we spoke a little bit and we resolved that issue, and then she called back again and said, you know, maybe, but I mean, they don't have the dye lot. She really tried, and I was kind of quite heartened by the effort she put into trying to, you know. I'm not worried about matching, to be honest. I noticed already that I have two dye lots here because I ordered one ball to just check it out when I was thinking I would use it for, and it's a lot of yarn. I didn't want to order whatever 12 balls without checking the yarn and feeling it. So I ordered one, and it arrived and I liked it. And then I ordered more, and I didn't even tell them to match it to anything. And I guess it didn't. And so you can't really see, and this has been blocked and washed, but like the beginning, I guess if you looked really hard, the line is somewhere here. The beginning is of a different ball, and then the rest is of, and I'd noticed it, and I was like, it doesn't bother me. I mean, what's really good about this anyway, I'll show you on the pockets, is it's not a single color. Because of the silk cotton blend, there's a little, you know, there's a bit of marling happening. So I'm not worried. I will, when I get the new skein, I will blend it by doing like a bit of helical knitting to blend it with the end of this ball, so it's not a straight line, and hope for the best. So, okay, that's just a little bit about the project I'm working on. Maybe a quick thing about what I'm wearing, but I've talked so much about these items, but I wear my knits. This is my toaster tee. Let me see if I can rise up a little bit. And, oh, this is a bit high. Maybe we could drop it a tiny bit. Sorry. Hope that's okay. I changed it a bit. It was a bit high. It didn't need to be that high. Okay, so toaster tee and my Ashburn shawl that I'm loving. You know, oh gosh, I forgot I'm actually wearing layers. And I'm wearing my, it's Anadaku is the, I think is the, my grays are really popping today. Eh? Embrace the grays, baby, embrace the grays. Okay, this is this vest, vintage vest, I think it's called. And I've been wearing it quite a bit because we have the in-betweenish weather. I mean, it's summer here, but you get very cool evenings, you get cool mornings. And so if I put that on, it just, you know, I'm enjoying wearing it because it's one of my, I wear it plenty, but it's definitely one of my least worn knits. Speaking of least worn knits, I have identified two garments that I will be, in fact, they're sitting there in a pile. I'm not really going to go and get them. I've folded them. But I'll be gifting to friends because they're wonderful, but I don't wear them. The one is the Erichimitsu Zen. It's this Shizen, which is just, I mean, it hurts almost to give it away, but it actually hurts more that it's not being worn. So I want it to be enjoyed. It's a V-neck and I just don't wear it. I love that pattern so much, but it's a V-neck. So I need to think if I could learn enough how to transfer it into a circular neck, because I would then make another and wear it. I love it so much, but I don't, V-neck doesn't work for me. And then the other one I'm giving away is my beautiful, what's it called now? Lento, that I knitted a chunk of time ago. It's actually lovely. I put it on again today. It's just too tight for me. It's knit in this beautiful green, and I've decided who the friend I would give it to, that it would fit. And I've just asked her to send me her bust measurement to make sure, but I think it's going to fit. And I have really long arms. Her arms are not as long and gangly as mine, so I think it would be good, and I think the color would work for her. And it feels good actually to sort of rehome these two pieces that I love so much. So yeah, okay, that's happening as well. What else? So what else I wanted to come on and talk about is I wanted to, let's see, I wondered if I could just talk to you about my plans, and maybe I could attempt, I've done this before and it didn't go very well, but attempt to do some cast-ons together, have a bit of a cast-on party. So it smells so nice. This is by a local yarn dyer who is incognito. for now. And I have this treasure of, oh, let me try and show, beautiful, oh, the skeins are falling out, silly. I've caked up these beautiful yarns from him, and I even did a swatch. I may have shown this before, but no problem showing it again. And I'm going to go with the slightly tighter swatch, which is a 4mm needle for the Lento. Now the Lento asks for a 6mm needle, but what I wanted to do is, with you, if you would allow me, measure. I'm going to measure the gauge. Okay, so this is really just flying by the seat of my pants. The Lento, I have my computer down here. The Lento has a gauge of 15 stitches and 21 rows. What I want to find out, what would be nice, is for me to find out that if I use 4mm needles, so 15 stitches. So let's do the stitch gauge first. So I'm here counting stitches. 1, 2, 3, 13, 14. So 15 stitches gives me 6 centimeters and not 10 on a 4mm needle. Now, when I use the 4.5, for me, that's too, well, let's try. Let's try on the, so this is a 1, 2, 14, 15, 6.5. It's not even much more. I just don't know that I could get away with anything. This for me is just too, well, look at it this way. It's too gapey. I mean, I don't know, maybe. I think I'll just do a bit of math for this one. So if I'm going to use the 4.5, which is the slightly tighter gauge, which I prefer. I think I even prefer the feeling knitting with the 4 than with really big needles and small yarn. So I'll go with the 4. So with the 4, I get 15 stitches in 6mm. Now I should write things down. I'm just taking you along today. How's that? I hope you're making something interesting. Let me know in the chat, which would make whatever I do here much more tolerable. So I'm just going to make a note. I'm going to say Lento, because that's the first one I started with. That's just by the by. I'm saying it's sport weight. I'm saying I want to use the 4mm. And I have a 15 stitch gauge in 6 centimeters. So which means in 10 centimeters. A bit of math. Don't make me do math in public. Okay, so that means, so 10 divided by 6, okay, times 15. So that's 25. So it's 25 stitches in, I think that's what it is, right? 25 stitches in 10 centimeters, when in fact the pattern says it should be 15. So you could say I'm 1.6 times tighter than the gauge asks for. So whatever size I choose to make, and we'll go to that next, I must multiply it by 1.6. I must multiply the instructions by 1.6. I think that's normally how I work. So that, because whenever she says cast on 60 stitches, she's using that gauge, but I'm 1.6 times tighter. So I have to multiply her instructions in order to get to the 10, because to make 10 centimeters, I need 1.6 times more stitches. That's a way of putting it. To make 10 centimeters, I need 1.6 times more stitches than she's asking for. Okay, so the next thing I want to decide is the size. I don't think I had already decided that. Let me see. Let me look in my, no, I hadn't decided that already. So size-wise, I just took off when I was measuring. And I'm wearing a bra. It's got a bit of padding, I'm not gonna lie. But size-wise, I'm safe at anything between 85 and 90 bust. I mean, 85 is a bit small, 90 is a bit wider. I'm somewhere in between the two. Whatever. I don't fuss about it. She recommends 12.5 centimeters of positive ease. So already we know, let's just do that calculation, that we want a size that is 12.5 plus, let's say 90. So 102 is the size we want. So if I look at her bust sizing, her 102, we're kind of looking at a size 2, which is 107. Okay? So it's a size 2. So if I knit a size 2, I must always multiply by 1.6. Or could I multiply this whole thing by 1.6, which gives you 164, and simply knit a size, is that right or is that scary? And simply knit a size 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe knit a size 8 just to not be. What do you think? I don't know if I'm crazy. I wonder if I think that's what I could do. So I could either knit a size 2, but every time she tells me to do something, I multiply it by 1.6. Or I've looked at the size I want. It has to be 1.6 times bigger if I'm going to follow it. I think I'm going to knit a size 2 and multiply by 1.6 just to manage things a little bit. Tricky, very tricky. So I want to cast on. I have it in my library, so let's get it. I also just now measured my row gauge, and that's 1.5 times tighter. So I don't know, this is a good experiment. I've done this before. I know it might sound a little all over the place, but now I've pulled up the pattern and I want to cast on. The next thing I thought I would cast on is, so I said in a previous episode that I want to make a bunch of gifts, and people had such great suggestions of what I could make. What are the gifts for and what are they made from? The gifts I'm be part of a big family gathering that's happening in July, mostly with my partner's family who live in Europe. And it's massive. They're like 25 people or so of all ages coming. I can't make something for everybody, but initially I thought I'd make something for just the women, and I was going to make something sophisticated like scarves, but I've decided to actually make lots of little things. So I'm going to make washcloths. I'm going to make, there was a wonderful suggestion to do the pressed flower scarf, I've gotten the proper name, which is slightly more involved, but if I did a few of those, I think those are pretty. I have this wonderful, look at this, massive stash of cotton yarn that I initially thought I would make garments from and that I've decided I won't. So I want to use this up. And so I'm going to be, maybe the first thing you can help me with is like pairing. So I've highlighted a few patterns, the pressed flower shawl, and which I think, I'll have a quick look, takes 2 or 3 colors. I want to do and then I found 2 nice washcloth patterns that I want to use. And yeah, I have all these colors, so I want to kind of pair them and see what could be fun. Like group them. I mean, maybe I don't have to be too pedantic in the grouping. I can actually just do what I like as I go along. But I wanted to cast on one of these as well for the cast on party. So I'll be doing that. I've got tons and tons. So maybe I'll make 4 pressed flower shawls. Maybe I'll end up not having enough. So I should be careful. I think I'm going to start by just making the washcloths and then come to because I think those will go faster and use up less yarn. My intention is to use all of this up, and I've got, these are 50 gram bowls. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have these larger bowls. This one's quite big. This is leftover from a blanket I made. This is leftover from my sabai top. And this is another blue, wonderful blue. These I got when I was in Kenya at a local yarn supplier, dyer. So it's a wonderful loot, and I'm going to cast on some of those as well. What else will you see me casting on? You are going to see me. Oh, this is nice. So I ordered some yarn. I decided to indulge myself, and I ordered some yarn from Knitting for Olive. My partner was traveling to Europe, and so he could pick some up for me on his way back, or bring some back for me when he came back. And so I am making La Seine, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, the famous waterway in Paris. And I ordered, this is with the contrast color and the main color. I have done a swatch. I swatched, so the pattern is, I think, supposed to be for 4mm. I need to still wash and block this swatch, but I swatched on 3.25. I think that, yeah, 3.25. Maybe the pattern's for 3.5. I'm trying to remember now, or 4. I don't know, I'm going back and forth, but I can tell you now. But as you can see, okay, I'll tell you about the red in a moment. I mean, it's gorgeous, just those two. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I brought the red in because I happen to have some red. This is Filcolana Aweta, I think. Or Tilia, I get confused. I think Aweta. It's sock yarn. I think that red is glorious. It's this kind of deep, not quite old blood, but almost. I think it's beautiful. But maybe next to the green, it's not so good. But maybe next to the blue, it'll be really good. The deep navy. I liked the idea of a couple of things. I suddenly looked, I think I ordered how many bowls of this, and I suddenly thought I might not have enough for just this, for the sweater. So I panicked and I thought, well, let me add another stripe. But does it lose? It becomes a bit jokey, which is fine. Jokey's a look. But maybe this is slightly more elevated with two colors, and when you add the third, it's a bit much. What do you think? I'm really open to suggestions. I'll cast on and start, I'll start with the main color anyway, and then I can decide later when I start the stripes. Maybe I add a much thinner band of red so it's not overkill and it's still kind of subservient to the green. But I could, in the striping section, I could save some navy by using red. However, because I thought, oh, how am I going to get extra yarn? Because it's Knitting for Olive, I'm not going to pay for shipping all the way here. Guess who's stocking Knitting for Olive? The yarn room. So maybe it's not an issue, and maybe I should do something else in my red that will really have it shine, because I think this is wonderful. I'm not going to make socks out of this. I'm not going to wear bright red socks. So I need to make something else out of it. Maybe I hold it double. It's I have 3 balls, so that's the other thing. I just have these kind of 3 balls of this that I bought when I traveled. I loved it a lot. I found it affordable, and Anyway, the point is, I'm going to be casting on La Sienne. I've got the yarn and I'm very excited. I think this is nice. I think that I like that fabric. I definitely love the choice I made. I think that's amazing. So me, I can just see that working out. So that's happening. It's the cotton merino. I don't know if I mentioned that. Last 3 cast-ons. So I'm sort of announcing all the cast-ons, and then I will put in footage of me doing the cast-ons. Maybe I'll come back and chat a little bit about how the cast-ons went. And that will be this episode. So I intend to do lots of Ashburn shawls this year. And so I put lots of different scrappy yarns out that for certain colors. I must remember who I thought this would be for. But yeah, I put a bunch of yarns here that I'll be using for the Ashburn shawl. I even put a bit of mohair, which is interesting. So I will cast on another one of these. It's got beautiful scraps and it's got some red here. I think this red is a red that I got from Naughty Habit. I think this is Naughty Habit, yes. So I got a few. It's a different red. It's kind of, I wanted to do an episode on red, by the way, because I have all these reds suddenly. And I've been noticing all the different, you see, it's more purpley than this that is very much like oxblood. So anyway, I think I will be putting this in a friend's Ashburn. So that will get cast on. I want to make my sister-in-law a pair of Woodland Warmers. I got her shoe size today. I've got this beautiful African Expressions Harmony yarn. I think I need to see if I have to hold this with something. And if I do, I might actually steal from this. I might have to hold it with something, in which case I will grab from here and hold it with a fingering to just make sure it's strong. You know, I could hold it with some of that red Aweta, particularly because it has nylon. There's a thought. I think I will do that. I have 3 balls and I that's plenty. I think I could get away with that. I don't see how I could use the 3 for one project, like for myself. I mean, I could maybe make one of these, but again, I said it's not the easiest thing I find to style, and it might not even be enough anyway, because I'd have to hold it double, I think. I think this is at least sport weight. So I think I'm gonna have to break it up and use it in different projects, and that's okay. That's actually quite nice. I could make one for my sister-in-law, and I've got lots of this brown. I bought it wanting to make myself something. I find this pills a little bit and it helps to hold it with a yarn, and I'm not doing a lot of mohair at the moment. I'm not trying to buy much more yarn. I want to knit what I have, so I don't want to keep it and then buy mohair to do something with it. No, I just want to use it. So, I mean, I could make... Anyway, I think I'm going to use it to make loafers for people and hold it with... Because I bought a sweater. I think I have 10 balls. I bought a sweater's quantity. That's okay. I think I can find it's nice. It's a nice gift yarn. It's really nice. It's super wash. I think the color is lovely. It's kind of deep chocolate. So okay. So that's gonna go on the needles. Casting on a lot of stuff. This is my attempt. Look, it's not that I think having lots of projects on the go is somehow this elevated status, but I admire the kind of mental alacrity it takes to have lots of projects on the go, and I like giving myself that challenge every now and again. I do it with my tongue in my cheek. I'm really just having fun. I like being monogamous, and yeah, not a big issue for me. Okay, so last cast on. Whew, that was a lot. I'll be casting on the Petali Slipover. So I'm going to hold this double for the Petali Slipover, and I'm likely to run out, so I will make the sides of the slipover from this beautiful locally dyed yarn that I think goes very well. So there's some side panels in the slipover, and that would be in this, and the rest will be in this. I think that's going to be fun and interesting. I'm looking forward to that. So I'll be casting that on. I need to still swatch for both yarns, so you might see me doing that, and then I'll cast on. I'm so confused. I'm using fingering yarn for a project that asked for DK. Her gauge is 21 stitches. When I do a swatch, I get so many things, but let's say I get 26. So that tells me that I should have to cast on more stitches than she asks for, because I need more stitches to make the length. When I cast on most, but I didn't actually cast on more stitches. I decided that I would just cast on what she asked for. And yet I get such a long fabric that's way longer than I think it ought to be when I put it up against my body. I'm so confused. Thanks for watching. Thanks for, just playing with me a little bit and coming along on my ballsy attempts at lots of cast-ons. If you've been making anything particularly interesting, if you are very skilled at lots of projects, one of the reasons I'm not so good at lots of cast-ons is I don't have endless needles. I have like a lot of straight needles, because early days I just bought all these straight needles. And then I have my set, my chiagu set, just the basic initial set. And then I had the odd circular I've bought separately before I got the chiagu. But yeah, they're not, and I don't feel like going out specially to buy, needles just so I can cast on lots of things. But I think I can manage it. There's sort of different weights here. My Zukhanye is on hold, so I could borrow those needles from her while I wait for the yarn to arrive. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you're well. Let me know if you have any ideas. What did I want? Let me know if you have any opinion about the Seine and the idea of adding another color. I'm leaning towards less is more, Yewande, don't. Less is more. And let me know what you think about my crazy mathematics with this. I guess I could find another pattern that fits the gauge. I'll see if I have in my library. I don't feel like buying another pattern. I want to, let me look around, because maybe the Tolster, for instance, maybe I could knit the Tolster, but just give it arms, and it'll kind of give me the same thing. I really like the Lento, though, but maybe it's much of a muchness. Let me know what you think as well, because I'll hold on that. Okay, I'll hold on this one cast on so that I can know what you think. Maybe I'll do the lint. Maybe I'll do the Tolster, but into a kind of a sweater, because it might be a more similar gauge or an easier fiddle than a whole like 1.6 times tighter. Anyway, that's me. Oh, one little announcement. I have decided that I'm going to do some Zoom connections. I do love those opportunities, the live stream or the Zoom in particular, because I think the Zoom would mean we can really talk. You know, it's not the live, you're just sending messages, which is wonderful, but it's not quite the same. Of course, meeting in person is the ideal, but the Zoom simulates some sort of a connection that I long for. And maybe you do too. Let me know if you think that would be fun. We could make it about the last questions of the 36 questions, or we could not make it that, so that we don't have that sort of hanging over us, but just to meet and knit together. I mean, I get a little bit of knitting in almost every evening before I go to bed. Yeah, some of those evenings I could come onto the Zoom and see who's there, and we could just say hi and bye. And in between, maybe what we're working on, and yeah, just chat about anything, just connect. It was amazing for the live stream. Like, people joined from Transylvania and from Poland, and I was so kind of really moved by who showed up and the connections that occurred, you know, in the moment. But anyway, let me know what you think. Take care and see you soon. Bye.